Following the unboxing of On Mars, today we review it, going through the gameplay and the 3 things we liked and the 3 things we didn't like about it. Lots of choices, gameplay in orbit and on the planet, and I have to say that building a colony on Mars has never been so interesting. So grab your coffee and let's take a journey together to the Red Planet. My name is Nick and we are Tabletop Duo. Thanks for joining us. On Mars is designed by Vital Lacerda, the creator of Lisboa, Kanban, and Vinhos, and it's published by Eagle Gryphon Games. They did a Kickstarter campaign last year for the On Mars Alien Invasion expansion, and since this was a board game I had my eyes on, I got the pledge that came with the base game. So let's start our review by talking about the board game components. The game comes with a big board that displays both Mars and the space station on its orbit. There are a ton of cardboard tiles, markers, and wood tokens. You also get a bunch of crystals and cards. If you want to see the components in details, go check our unboxing. The link is in the video's description. Now that we talked about the game components, let's go through the On Mars overview. You start by choosing a colonist color from the 4 available, as this is a 1 to 4 player game. Each player has their own board with colony ships, colonists, resources, and ready-to-build complexes. And on the planet, they have the start tile of their colony as well as an utility robot. Their objective is to complete quests on the board and/or improve their Mars facility complex. In orbit, players acquire resources, develop their technology, and acquire projects. While on Mars, they can build an assortment of facilities that provide minerals, food, water, air, and colonists, build more colonist ships, build projects, or recruit specialists that will enable new actions. Some actions use colonists to be activated, and some can be boosted by the use of colonists or crystals. Players can perform 2 actions per turn, a main action and an executive action. And at the end of the player's turn, a ship might travel from orbit to the colony and vice versa, depending on the stage of the game you are. At the beginning of the game, the ship travels frequently between them, but after the colony achieves certain growth, the travel becomes less frequent. Now let's go for the review and the 3 things we liked and the 3 things we didn't like about the game. On Mars orbit and colony loop is pretty unique, as each area has unique actions you can play, and as you advance the game, players travel less between them, so the choices you make are really important. Making choices in this game is a dilemma, because all the actions are useful, which is incredible considering how many you have available. There is not a single time we played the game that we did not alternate between them very frequently, which is also very good, meaning that you have to adapt your strategy as you go. Players can try a variety of strategies when playing, focusing on different aspects of Mars colonization, and again, there is no winning strategy. Each player also gets personal objectives, which are easy to complete and give you things to do while your main objectives have not been met. This is a cool addition. The flip side of the choice is that the game is quite complex, so it will take time to learn how to play and also time to introduce new players to the game. Your first matches will easily take around 7 hours for a 3-player game as you try to grasp the mechanics. If everyone playing knows the rules, it should take around 4 to 5 hours if you are playing with 3 players. But if you bring someone new, expect the playtime to go up considerably as well. The other side effect of the complexity is that the first match for a new player is overwhelming and you need to play multiple times to understand what's going on. The game thematic is great as the meeples are detailed and the complexes have cool visuals. Seeing the colony developing is really satisfying, just like when you play Terraforming Mars. But the card icons are not self-explanatory, so expect to do a lot of back and forth between the glossary and the rulebooks. In terms of scoring, the game is really well balanced and the choices you make don't create situations where your scoring will be very low compared to other players. You advance on the score tracker during the game and also at the end, so it's easy to know who is winning and adapt your strategy. Before we give our final comments on the game, let's go to the moment you are waiting for. The 3 things we liked and disliked about the game. Starting with the things we liked. The first one is the variety and quantity of choices you have. This is a characteristic of Vital Lacerda, but I think he achieved mastery of choices in this game. Often, you'll be torn apart between building a new complex, upgrading one, or exploring Mars with your hover, or building a fleet of ships on Mars, or advance technology, gather resources, or acquire new projects in orbit. Playing multiple times also altered our strategies and we never took the same choices all the time. The second thing we liked about the game is that you advance in the game collectively with other players, by advancing the overall colony level or by completing missions. This gives clear goals to players if you don't have an idea of what to do and might spark changes in your strategy, which I really like. It's like the game is constantly giving you tips on what to do next. And the third thing we liked is how well the thematic is tied to the gameplay. From the actions and even the board game insert, with its red cover, Vital Lacerda is well known for applying this concept on his board games, and he did it again. Now let's talk about the 3 things we didn't like. And the first one is that the cards and board icons are very hard to understand without the help of the glossary. Because of the variety of action verbs, you will be often consulting it even after your first playthroughs. And sometimes, even when you look at the glossary, you might mistook an action for another, as some icon silhouettes look alike. This is not a major issue, but I think it's important to mention. The second thing we didn't like is that it takes a long time to start your first playthrough because of the game rules complexity. It's very easy on the first playthrough to forget what each action do or misinterpret them. On top of that, if you bring a new player to the table, expect to spend at least an hour explaining while the other players are just idling around. And the third thing we didn't like is that if players rush to complete objectives, the part about advancing the colony could be interrupted, and the game ends before your long-term goals are achieved. So be careful and keep track of the endgame conditions before you plan ahead. Overall, this is a great game, and a must-have in your collection if you like to play complex games from time to time. I can't wait to do the unboxing and review of On Mars Alien Invasion expansion and see how they affected the game. Stay tuned and see you next time. Bye!